Privilege escalation via AssumeRole abuse in AWS involves exploiting misconfigured identity and access management roles to gain elevated permissions. IAM roles are designed to grant temporary access to AWS resources, but vulnerabilities arise when trust policies are overly permissive. AssumeRole is an AWS Security Token Service API operation that enables secure delegation, eliminating the need to share permanent IAM credentials. It provides temporary security credentials, allowing users or services to perform actions defined by the assumed role's permissions policy. Key components include a trust policy, defining who can assume the role, and a permissions policy, defining what the role can do. One common technique is modifying the AssumeRole policy, granting an attacker additional permissions. The attacker can then use the STS AssumeRole API to access resources they were previously unauthorized to access. Exploiting over-permissive trust relationships is particularly dangerous when roles have permissions that allow access to sensitive resources. IAM role chaining, where one role allows another to assume its permissions, can lead to unintentional privilege escalations. Attackers with IAM. Pass role permission can attach privileged roles to newly created compute or orchestration resources. This allows attackers to compromise execution surfaces and inherit privileges indirectly, impacting services like Lambda, CloudFormation, Glue, and Data Pipeline. Compromising AI agents that delegate work to downstream tools can lead to privilege escalation by hijacking the agent's tools. AWS services like SageMaker, Glue, and EMR may create or recommend default IAM roles with broad policies, which attackers can leverage. If IAM user secrets are leaked, for example via GitHub or phishing, attackers can use those credentials to assume roles. In real-world scenarios, privilege escalation often begins with access to a low-privileged user account. From there, the user may be able to escalate privileges if they are allowed to assume a more powerful IAM role due to misconfigured trust relationships. This can lead to unauthorized access to sensitive data, unauthorized modifications of resources, and potential service disruptions. It can also result in lateral movement within the AWS environment and compromise of the entire AWS account. To mitigate these risks, implement the principle of least privilege, granting only the minimum permissions required. Restrict IAM. Pass role by limiting its use to specific roles and services with conditions. Regularly audit IAM policies and roles to identify and remediate overly permissive configurations. Enable multi-factor authentication for all IAM users, especially those with console access. Monitor IAM user activity and regularly review IAM policies to ensure they align with security requirements. Utilize AWS IAM Access Analyzer to identify external access and high-risk permission paths. Implement permission boundaries to limit the maximum permissions that a role can have. Automate role lifecycle management using infrastructure as code like Terraform or CloudFormation. Enable comprehensive CloudTrail logging with log file validation to maintain an audit trail of all IAM actions. Protect IAM credentials and access keys, and rotate IAM keys regularly. Implement risk-based adaptive MFA that evaluates risk factors before granting access. Remove inactive users and roles to reduce the attack surface, and employ AWS managed policies whenever possible. By understanding the risks associated with AssumeRole and implementing these mitigation strategies, organizations can significantly reduce their attack surface. This improves their overall cloud security posture, safeguarding against privilege escalation via AssumeRole abuse.